भद्रं कर्णेभिः शृणुयाम देवाः भद्रं पश्येमाक्षभिर्यजत्राः स्थिरैरङ्गैस्तुष्टुवागुंसस्तनूभिः व्यशेम देवहितं यदायुः स्वस्ति न इन्द्रो वृद्धश्रवाः स्वस्ति नः पूषा विश्ववेदाः स्वस्ति नस्तार्क्ष्यो अरिष्टनेमिः स्वस्ति नो बृहस्पतिर्दधातु। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। हरिः ॐ।
Dear friends, welcome back to the study of the Mundaka Upanishad, and we have completed the study of the first 3 shlokas of the first chapter of the third Mundaka. Serially speaking, we have completed the study of 47th shloka in serial counting, and the third shloka of the first chapter of the Mundaka Upanishad. As I had told you before, this is the concluding Mundaka of the Upanishad. This Mundaka concentrates on what is the goal of life. In a very descriptive manner, and if you read it twice, you will find inbuilt instruction is available there, which I will develop for you, and I'll not keep you in the dark. The instruction part of it is, he describes the goal, and while describing the goal, if you read in between the lines, Lakshartha, you will find instructions are inherently hidden in those statements. This is A. And B is, there are few shlokas where without any, I would say, pretension, the Upanishad tells you what you must do to reach the goal. There is no compromise. Therefore, the concluding Mundaka is highly, I would say, inspiring, at the same time exhilarating. It will inspire you and it will exhilarate you. Now, we have read the first 3 shlokas. The first 2 shlokas were the famous example where in the same body there are 2 existences as it were. In reality, it is Paramatman and Paramatman alone, who is everywhere, all-pervasive, all-permeating, omnipotent, omnipresent, omniscient Atman. That is my true original nature, of which or about which I have no information whatsoever, no identity with it whatsoever. As far as information is concerned, by studying these scriptures, we had a nodding acquaintance, yes, there's a concept known as Satchidananda Swarupa, known as Nitya, Suddha, Buddha, Mukta, Swabhavavan, Atma, or Brahman. We have heard this, the sounds do create a vague impression, and we have a vague idea of what is it. If the idea is not crystal clear and rock solid, vagueness will invade. And every stupid thing will start selling in the name of spirituality. So Sri Krishna, the Rishi Angirasha here is explaining to you now, conceive of a tree. The tree is this Urdhamulam Adashwakam Aswattam Praurabhyayam. We have found it in the Gita. What is it? It is a tree with its roots upwards and the foliage facing downwards. If you start from a tip of a leaf, slowly and slowly and slowly, you can go to its root high up and identify yourself with the main cause of this universe. So in this tree, two birds of same plumage, Suparna, they are of same plumage, the same origin, but here for the sake of explanation, he says there are two birds. Who are they? One is the Jivasman, I am as I am today, identifying myself with what I am not. And the other is my true original nature, which is infinite, which is eternal, which is immutable, which is absolute. That is my true original nature. I know that as Jivatma, egocentric, individualistic, I am. They live in this tree, in this body-mind complex. Of those two, the Jivatman, that is what I am today, I keep on picking at the fruits of the tree. They are absolutely in the bud form, they're a little mature, they're fully mature, and they're luscious ripe. And I indiscriminately keep on picking at those. What does it mean? As far as exemplification is concerned, example should be confined to the idea that is being exemplified. You are not allowed to go beyond. What is the exemplification? Look at myself or ourselves. We are living in this world. We are interacting with this gross and fine world by my 5 sense organs and my 5 active organs. While interacting, I am reacting. And what is the reaction? Pleasure or pain? Or, to be more scholastic, more academic, more right to the point, we are interacting with the world and making ourselves a victim of 6 propensities: lust, anger, greed, confusion, vanity and pride, and envy or jealousy. Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. And we go through these reactions one after the other in infinite permutation and combinations. That is what the Jiva is, what I am today. The other bird has climbed to the top of the tree. And in the topmost twig or branch, it is sitting there, whistling, chirping, enjoying the swing of the breeze on the branch and looking around. And he's enjoying the whole look. You understand me? The whole extent of this world, and he is not involved. His involvement is seeing and enjoying. What is he seeing? The oneness in this diversity. He has established himself in his true, real, original nature. So in this body, Paramatman is, and that Paramatman, because I'm involved and attached to the worldly things, that Paramatman belittles itself, as it were, becomes Jivasman, the individualistic, separatist-based ego. This is the example. What is the result of this type of life? One who is involved in this action and reaction, anishaya sochati mucchavanam. He is sometimes absolutely flattened out and a victim of lot of suffering because he has forgotten his true identity and he involves himself with this world. And because of that involvement and because of his prarabdha, his karma, he is a victim of pleasure and pain. So what he has to do from this example, he has to stop pecking at fruits and he has to slowly climb. Climb means detach himself, not to develop any attachment, not to desire the enjoyment of these things of the world. He climbs up and goes up there. How does he do so? Jushtam jada annavisham. That is, he pursues these 9 disciplines of spiritual life, which is fundamental. You can't go ahead without these. Without practicing these, and with prolonged practice, it becomes a part and parcel of your being. What are those? Viveka, power of discrimination between what is real, what is unreal. Vairagya, I will be attached. I will be attached only to my goal, to be one with God. My capacity to be attached is no more involved in this world. I take it up from here and put it there. This is the meaning of the word Vairagya. That is, I cannot as of now live without desires. Good enough. My Viveka Buddhi, the power of discrimination, has told me the world promises but has no capacity to deliver. I've seen through this ball game. I'm tired of this unending farce. Therefore, I will be attached, but I'll be attached only to my goal and nothing else. For that matter, I must practice Shama, the control of inner organs, that I keep my mind in its place like a pot of clay. Be here, it remains there. You lift it, put it there, it gets stuck there. Just like that pot of clay, your mind is totally under your control. That is Shama. Antarendriya Nigraha. Total control on your inner organ. Dhamma, total control of your external organs. I will not taste it. I will not touch it. I will not see it. I will not hear it. And I stop doing so. A discipline introduced in myself, imposed on myself. Sama dama uparati. Once you have done it, don't allow it to go out. Titiksha. There will be this dual throng in your life, pleasure and pain. Sahanam sarva dukkhanam apratikara purvakam. Chinta bilapa rahitam. I bite my jaws and I said, no, I will not. But within me, a Vesuvius is blowing in anger. I don't show it, but it's blowing within me. Nothing doing. Titiksha is, it will leave no trace of any reaction within you. You don't react. Uparati titiksha Shraddha. What is Shraddha? Guru Vedanta Bhakyeshu Ativa Vishwasa. Endless faith, endless reliance, endless dependence on what the Guru has told you and what the Upanishads or the scriptures teach you. If you can practice these 8, then you are qualified to be Samadhi-bhan. You are on the way of total concentration on an object, that is the awareness of presence of God, and you are so aware, you have forgotten your separate entity. You have slowly and gradually, through the process of being and becoming, through the process of evolution, you merge with the divine. Samadhi. And all through mumukshutta is the desire to reach my goal. You see now, mumukshutta means an unstoppable desire. So, desire has to be utilized when you are a jiva for a particular purpose, not to enjoy the things of the world. All this has been mentioned here. Now, he tells you in a descriptive manner what will happen to you if you reach that goal. The third shloka, which we have read, but let us read it once again. Yada, as and when, that is, the end result of your pursuit, the end result of your sadhana, end result of your unstoppable, uninterrupted efforts to identify yourself with your true original nature. Yada, as and when, pasya, pashyati iti pasyaha, a one who experiences, the experiencer. As and when the experiencer experiences that eternal being, the ruler, the Lord God of the universe, the creator, the preserver and the destroyer of this cosmos. And he sees him how within himself, Purishayanat Purusha, who resides in me. And how does he appear? Rukma Varnam. Rukma Varnam means the effulgence of a polished piece of gold. The effulgence. Awareness and effulgence are equated here together because there is no other word to explain that awareness. You become aware through that excellent manifestation of your awareness, and that awareness spreads all over the world. I am that. Yada, as and when such a situation happens to a sadhaka, a person who is putting an effort, tada, then what happens? What is the end result? Then this jiva becomes Shiva. That is, all his bondages has been burnt out. By way of example, this is how it should understand. What is that concept of burnt out? Totally disappeared. Burnt out means totally annihilated. It doesn't exist. Now, an example. There's a piece of something lying there in your garden at the dusk time. You only see something. General awareness of something is there. You have not yet developed particularly what it is. Something is there. Because it is dusk, you don't see very well. You see the size, the shape, and the form in which it is lying. Immediately, because of the instinct of self-preservation, because your past law of association with a snake, because of the similarity of appearance of that curved thing, you see a snake there. Not only you see a snake, your reaction bodily is, oh, help me, a venomous snake. You howl and shout and call for help. People come running to help you with lanterns and sticks. And a very energetic person, he says, oh, it's a snake, tries to kill it. After several beating, they find, and all of us find, there is no inanimate movement in that object, animate movement in that object. If somebody is bitten with a stick, it will writhe in pain. There's no movement whatsoever. It is lifeless. So you look again, you poke it with your stick, you put your lamp on, and you say, oh dear me. It is a piece of rope. But I created a snake there because I did not complete my process of knowing. I left it half done. I saw something, but I could not identify what that thing. In that moment, the ignorance of the real object, ajnana, the ignorance of the real object gives you ample time to create something which is not there, which was not there, which is not there, which will never be there. A snake. Now, when you know it is a rope, where does a snake go? You created it, and now it has no locus standi, because the one that created the snake, that has been identified as a rope, it totally disappears, loses its hold on you. By means of the hold, it means you are scared to death. You are no more scared to death, and the snake has totally disappeared. It came out of that rope. We say it has gone back to the rope. Creation is mind because of my ignorance. So, when a sadhaka, with his relentless effort, identifies himself, that awareness, eternal, immutable, infinite, absolute, all-permeating, all-pervasive, I am that. And it shines like a shine of a polished gold. That shine of a polished gold is a symbol of the sense of awareness which has broken all boundaries, and you see it everywhere. And He is the eternal, the Lord God of the universe. Nothing beyond it. When such an experience arises, what happens? The jiva has disappeared. It's a myth. You have created yourself as a jiva because you have forgotten your Shiva. You have forgotten your Paramatman. You have convinced yourself, I am Jivasman. At that time, all the concept of Papa, Punya and everything is absolutely annihilated, totally demolished. Niranjanam, you become unadulterated, untainted, unpolluted. Paramam Samyam Upaiti. You gradually be and become one with that eternal thing which is serene, which is tranquil, which is peaceful. That is what happens to you. Now, to make that happen to you, these are the things you have to follow. So it is both informative, educative, instructive, descriptive. Never forget this catch. Otherwise, the Upanishad, the true meaning of the Upanishad will keep on eluding you. You will fail to understand the spirit of the Upanishad. We have studied up to this shloka. Now let us move to the fourth. Let us, as usual, first read it. Let us understand the word-to-word meaning, and then we'll try to understand what is the lakshartha, the inner meaning, the meaning that the Upanishadkar Maharishi Angirasha wants to convey to you with playing with these words. He has no other avenue but the word and their meaning. That is why it is said in the Brahma Sutras, Savdartha Jnanam Kartavyam. Shavda and its artha, the word and its meaning. You must get into the real meaning of the word. What is that word? Ayam Atma Brahma Aham Brahmatmi. The four Mahavakyas. That's what it is. So now let us read this shloka. Prano hi esha sarvabhutair vibhati. Let us stop here. Hi esha, that object of which we are discussing. What is that object? Sarvabhutair vibhati. He shines in every manifested being. Prana hi esha sarvabhutair vibhati vijanan vidyan. The knower of the self, he knows now that eternal reality, that Brahman, as the source of cosmic energy, prana, is manifested everywhere. And along with it, he knows, I am that. That is, Punna Pape Vidhuya, Niranjanam Paramam Shammam Upaiti, Upaiti. Upaeti, Upaiti. He gradually merges with that, be and becomes with that. Be and become with that. That was in the previous shloka. This is being again explained to you. That eternal element manifests in the whole cosmos. How? As the source of cosmic energy, the life force. That is the root cause. He resides everywhere. And that jiva, that sadhaka, with those disciplines practiced, what happens to him? He keeps on breaking out his boundaries, his borders. I am not a Bengali, I am an Indian. I am not an Indian, I am an Asian. I am an Asian, but I am a human. I am a member of the human society. I have forgotten where I have born, which part of it is born. I now belong to the whole human. Are you not breaking your boundaries by educating yourself? I am a member of the human society, and we are more than quadrillion in number. I am a member of that society. A human, Homo sapien. Now break that last boundary also. Upaiti, that is the gradual process of being and becoming by following those disciplines. Sadhana chatushtaya. But what is the end result? How do you convince yourself that you have achieved that? Because we humans are past masters in self-deception and delusion. We deceive ourselves eternally. That self-deception has to be broken. So he gives you how your behavior pattern from a Jivasman to Paramatman undergoes a sea change. He says, that person na Adibadi bhavati. Vijanan vidyan, having known well that that Supreme Being manifests itself as a primal cosmic energy which runs the whole show, which is manifested like force in all living creatures. He knows that. And where is he to be found? Within himself. Purushaha. Bhavate natibadi. What is Utivadi, dear? Let us break it up. Sarvan anyan atitya na vadati iti natibadi. Sarvan anyan. Now, let us look at it by an example and the meaning will be clear. We are all here. We keep on arguing to find out the truth. And in the process of arguing, each one develops the idea, I am right, you are wrong, and I will shout you down. I will howl you down. I am the best. What does it mean? Go deeper. Your ego, the limited identity of yours, is asserting yourself, I am the best. Adibadi means a person who is a victim of this attitude. While living in the world, I want to prove I am the best. This is what is known as Adibadi. Now, let us put it, a very vain, a very proud, a high and mighty, egoistic person. Once you see yourself everywhere, how can you fight with each other? And we are all the same. And the best example in the scriptures or in human history that we ever find is in Sri Ramakrishna. As soon as he achieved that goal, he literally saw the divine in the form of his Ishtadevi, the Holy Mother, Bhavatarini Kali. Whomsoever he saw, he bowed down. He bowed down with folded hands, with due respect and veneration, and without any conceit. Not a sham show. He literally saw divine in everywhere. Na Utivadi bhavati. He doesn't assert his ego, because the separateness which was cause of all this misbehavior, that separateness has totally been lost. There are several occasions in Sri Ramakrishna's life. I'll quote one, you all remember, but no harm in quoting to justify what the Upanishads had said. Madhavanandaji once told me, Shalil, never make a mistake. If you want to know Sri Ramakrishna well, read your scriptures thoroughly. Without reading the scriptures, you will not understand who Sri Ramakrishna is, and without understanding what Sri Ramakrishna is in his daily life behavior, you will not understand the secrets of the Upanishads. They are mutual. They are complementary and supplementary to each other. So let me quote you what is Utivadi and Na Utivadi. Totapuri had just now, a few days before, initiated Sri Ramakrishna into sannyas. And you know, in sannyas he went into Nirvikalpa Samadhi for 3 days and 3 nights, and Totapuri was unable to bring him back to normal level of consciousness. Whatever it may be, he tried everything and he failed, and then by the Divine Mother's grace, Sri Ramakrishna came back, fully aware of that experience of oneness of the universe, Nirvikalpa Samadhi, and I am that. This is what happens to him. After some time of that sannyasa, in an evening time, in a winter evening, Totapuri was very fond of lighting fire, that sacred fire known as dhuni, few timbers put together, burnt up, and that flame was equated to Brahman, pure. Now a poor man, after the whole day's work, he was looking out for a piece of amber so that he can have his tobacco, his smoke, in an earthen pot as it is in India. Amber on an earthen pot on which there is an earthen plate. You put the tobacco to be roasted indirectly in that heat and then suck it through water. And the water is in a coconut shell. Hold in a hand. Beautiful small little things. It was Sri Ramakrishna used to use it, and it is still maintained in Belur Math. So the poor man was walking down, and he saw the fire. And he saw two people immersed in their thoughts. So very stealthily, he came and he tried to get a piece of burning amber out of that fire. He did not know that fire is a symbol of Brahman to Totapuri, and Totapuri was alert, and as soon as he was trying to take that out, Totapuri with iron tongs, "You rascal!" and he wanted to beat him. Sri Ramakrishna woke up and saw, "Hey, naked one." He touches him and says, "What are you doing? Just now you are telling me that whole world is Brahman. Where did that rascal come from?" Adibadi na bhavati. Sri Ramakrishna has merged with the whole cosmos. There's no sense of separateness. Therefore, I and you does not arise. Therefore, egocentricity doesn't arise. Therefore, I am better than thou does not arise. This is what na bhavati. Adibadi na bhavati. That means he does not assert his small ego. He is no more a Jiva. He has become a Shiva. The definition is there and the behavior pattern is being mentioned. His spiritual experience translated into behavior pattern is there for everybody to see. He is not talking tall without an experience. Rather, with his experience, he has become modest and humble where he sees God everywhere. Prano hi esha sarvabhutair vibhati. Vijanan, experiencing which, not janan, knowing intellectually. Vijanan means experiencing which, vishesha jnanam, vijnanam. Experiencing and knowing, that's the difference. Bhavate, they become Adibadi, no, they do not become Adibadis. And he gives you a few characteristics. And he says, all of them are Brahmavits, but a person in whose behavior pattern this behavior is available all the time without any difficulty, spontaneous, he is the best of the lot. And this is a big question. We'll come to that later on. Let us see what are the behavior patterns. Ja Atma Kriya. Atmarati. Kriyaban. 3 words. Atma Kriya. Kriya is play. When you play, you need some other objects to play with. That is Kriya. If you want to play cricket, you must need stumps, balls, bat, gloves, pads, this. Then you can play with. Any type of play needs external appliances to play with. Kriya. What is Rati? You heard a wonderful devotional music. Grace. And you have heard it, and all by yourself, you're enjoying it through your memory. You don't need anything else. It is you and your mind and your memory. That is Rati. Krida is Bhajya Sadhana Sapeksha. It is dependent on other tools and tackles, appliances. And Rati doesn't need anything. You and your thoughts. Bhajya Sadhana Nirapeksha. Ja Atmarati. When he is alert and awake, he sees God everywhere and interacts with God. And that is the divine play. Atma-kriya. And what is Atmarati? Left to himself, Sri Ramakrishna is lost, immersed in his mother. Atma-kriya, Atmarati, and Kriyavan. He is active. He is not a piece of stone. Look at the lives of avatars. They are all active from their birth to their death. And what is that activity? Doing good to others. Basantavat loka hitaya charanta. Like the spring after a weary winter, it brings life everywhere. They live like that, bringing hope and joy in each and every life. Kriyavan. They are active, but their activity is within a particular circle. Shuddha Sattvic Sadhana. That is, the Sattva Guna is so much in Prakriti, in their temperament, that there is no Rajasic Vritti, no Tamasic Vritti. That dynamism of egoism is not there, neither indolence of Tamogun is not there. But they're active in a manner that people can be one with God. Kriyavan. Esha, such a person, a realized soul, amongst the Brahmavits. Esha Brahmavidam, amongst the Brahmavits, Varishtaha, he is the best. Now, dear, this best word is not properly understood by many, and they say, do you mean to say when Swami Vivekananda said, Avatara Varishta Sri Ramakrishnaya Namaha, what does he mean? Better than Ram, better than Krishna, better than Jesus, better than Muhammad? What does that chappie means? He was not yet 40, so he was a chappie to these so-called old generation. And they never accepted Swamiji for it. They absolutely, I would say, hold him as it were, or crucified him as it were. But there's a meaning in this madness, and this is what you should learn. And I have found out from the scriptures, substantiated by scriptures, the example is mine. Say, 3 knowers of self. They have attained that experience of selfhood, Brahmagyana, through their own method. One of those, Brahmavetta, knower of Brahman, walks down the village, it is evening, and every village in India at that time had a small little kutia, a hut, I would say a bamboo hut with leaf covers, for such Swamis to spend the night in a little comfort and security. One comes there. And in the village, there was a roster. If it is Sunday, it is yours. It's Monday, it is yours. It's Tuesday, it is yours. So the lady whose charge was the mother of the house, she saw it is occupied. So she came with food enough. The Brahmavetta, because of his habit of achieving that Brahmagyanam, that Brahmavetta was immersed in samadhi. He makes noises, she makes noises, no response. She loudly says, Dear Lord, your food is kept here, your bhiksha is kept here, as and when it is convenient to you, please have it before it gets cold. No response, she goes away. This is what happens with him for all the 3 days. Because he has practiced that type of sadhana, which is withdrawing himself totally from the world and concentrating on that Nirgun, Nirakar, Nirvikalpa Brahma. So, all his emotions and etc. has dried up. Because of that type of sadhana and that type of siddhi, because of sadhana, Jadrishi Bhavana Jasya siddhir bhavati tadrishi. It's in the Gita. And Pahari Baba told Swami, Jan sadhan tan siddhi. Whatever is your methodology, it will have an effect on your life after you realize that. Now, the second person comes in. He's a Brahmavit, but he's not so fanatic. He's a little moderate. He was meditating. As soon as he heard a little noise, he opens his eyes and sees the lady. Oh, mother, you have come in. You have brought my bhiksha. Oh, mother, you're so kind of you. Come, would you like to feed me? Here, I'm ready. You feed me. Almost like a cultured human being, he interacts with her. While interacting, he asks her about her family, her children, her husband, her financial status and all that. He did that every 3 nights and days. Whosever time was, this was his reaction. This is a second person. That means, while performing this sadhana, his sadhana was not compromising, but he maintained a little humanness in his life of sadhaka. And he reached that goal. He can go into nirvikalpa samadhi. At the same time, he is interested in the people who is looking after him by giving him food to keep his body and mind together. The third person, he is a Brahmavit. His behavior pattern is as same as the second one. But on the first day, next morning, he finds weeping and wailing close by from a hut. He was meditating. He heard that. And he left his meditation, woke up, and walked down to the south and saw a small little hut. An 11 or 12 years boy is lying dead, and his mother and relations are all weeping. He asked somebody what has happened. The widow, only son, was playing in the field and a cobra bit him and he's dead. An unquenchable agony of that lady. He, a Brahmavit, sits with them, tries to share their agony, tries to comfort them, becomes one with them in sharing and caring, in sympathizing and empathizing. And 3 days passed, he lost count of his days. He interacted with the whole village till the village found its feet, and the village was back to its normalcy, and he took leave of them and went away. All 3 are Brahmavetas. But the process through which they have achieved that goal. The last person was a karma yogi. He has achieved the goal by educating himself, seeing God everywhere, and in reality he saw God everywhere. Prano hi esha sarvabhutair vibhati bijanan vidyan na Utivadi. Ya atma krida atmarati kriyavan esha brahmavidam barishta. Why? His behavior pattern is top-class human. He is a personification of humanism, though he is a realized soul. This is what it is. You understand now, my dears, what is Varishtata? The quantum of experience of Brahmagyanam cannot be had in proportion. The quantum is either you are a Brahmagyani or you are not. There's no halfway house. No halfway house, experience-wise. Rationality, it gets clearer and clearer and clearer. But like a very well-kept lantern, hurricane lantern, you try to touch the flame, your fingertip hits the glass. The glass is so thin, so clear, you don't see it. You don't perceive it. You want to touch the flame, it touches it. Here that glass is not there. So he says, look, this is a person. The quantum of knowledge is not good, better, best. That is the same. After knowledge, buddhana para. After experiencing that knowledge, by God's grace, if you come back from Nirvikalpa Samadhi, at that time, what is your behavior pattern? Your behavior pattern will be conditioned by what type of sadhana you have done. You are in the hills and the forest all by yourself, all the time meditating, you will reach the goal. But your post-realization life will be that way. Jadrishi bhavana jasya siddhir bhavati tadrishi. Jan sadhana tada siddhi. So this is a shloka, dear, which justifies Swamiji saying, Avatara Varishtaha. Now, look at the humility, the modesty, the simplicity and integrity of Sri Ramakrishna's behavior pattern with all. Born in a place where you do your husking of paddy. You are so poor, she didn't have a place to be born. Was born in a place where husking room, the paddy husking room. And that man, look at his life, how he behaved. Can you find, from the social point of view, morals, ethics and propriety, can you find any blemish in Sri Ramakrishna's life? That is why Swamiji was compelled to tell to the world, you are dharmasya sthapaka, rehabilitator of the real meaning of the word dharma. And how did you establish it? Not by rationality. Sarva dharma swarupine. You be and become. You evolved into the reality, the essence of that particular dharma with its inner and outer meaning. Behavior pattern inward, behavior pattern outward. That is why I have to tell you, you are Avatara Varishtaha. You are the most excellent example of a realized soul or of an avatar. So Swamiji said this word Varishta not because Gurubad, he was eulogizing his Guru. He was compelled to say so because of the truth of the situation. And he found his idea from this shloka. Avatara Varishta, and here he says, Brahma Vidam Varishta. Thank you, dear friends. Thank you ever so much. This is one of the excellent shlokas of this scripture. Anyway, there will be furthermore later on. Later on, having said so, in the last 4 shlokas, The next few shlokas, he will speak about how to reach the goal. Satyena labhya tapasa hiesha atma. Truth and truth alone, and tapasya alone will reach you to that goal. Truth. What is truth? This is we will discuss next discourse, in the next discourse. Thank you, dears. Thank you.
Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna